I am looking at the stream and seeing if we're twitching. Are we twitching? Hello, Twitch. Refresh. Twitch. Are we twitching? There we go. We are twitching. All right. And Dementia Radio now. And recording in 3, 2, 1.
Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org, it's the Funny Music Podcast. Brought to you by FuMP.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the great Luke Ski.
Hey, Devo Spice!
Hey, Luke Ski!
What's going on this week?
What's going on is the video didn't cut to you. I hate Zoom. We may have to find another solution because this is stupid. Anyway, welcome to episode 832 of the Funny Music Podcast for May 28th, 2026. The title of this week's episode is Dirty Finger. Alrighty. So, let's see. I'll just pin you if it doesn't cut to you because that's what I have to do now.
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke bailed and didn't show up.
Hey, what?
Oh, he's right.
I'm pretty sure it cut to you when you first joined the call. So this
That's
is
weird.
This is annoying. Anyway. Pin you. There you are. Hi, Luke.
All right. Hello. Well, I saw The Mandalorian and Grogu twice.
I only saw it once.
I thought it was a lot of fun, and it made me happy. Hooray.
I liked it. I didn't love it. I thought they could have done some more interesting things with the plot. I thought they had a really cool setup for the plot, and then they just kind of gave up on it at one point. But I did like it, though. I thought it was cool. It was good.
I do like the fact that it ties into the animated Clone Wars movie.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. Have you ever seen the animated Clone Wars movie? That was in theaters. That was basically kind of the pilot for the TV series.
No, I never saw that.
Okay, well, it's where the character Ahsoka gets introduced for the first time.
Okay.
And part of the plot of that episode is that Jabba the Hutt's son was kidnapped, and Anakin and Ahsoka need to go rescue it. And Jabba the Hutt's son at the time is just kind of like a ball with a face. Remember in the movie where they show it's like, here's an image of what he looks like. It was taken a long time ago, and it was just like a little. That's basically what he looked like.
Okay.
in that movie. So now they're basically and also, I don't even remember if they officially called him Rata during that movie. They just kept referring to him as Jabba the Hutt's son, and then at one point, because he's a baby and stuff, Ahsoka starts calling him Stinky. So he was just known as Stinky throughout the rest of the episode.
Nice.
or the rest of the movie thing. And, and in the end, they rescue him and they return him to Jabba and blah, blah, blah. So I just love the fact that here's this character from this movie that so many people have crapped on. I mean, ignoring the fact that, the Clone Wars series ended up becoming some of the best Star Wars content made.
I've heard that. I still need to watch it.
And it's friggin' incredible. And it's kind of like, yes, we're forcing you to acknowledge that this exists now because of this movie. That this is Rada all grown up, and now he's like a jacked Hutt, which is a concept we didn't know could be a thing.
Yeah. I think probably my biggest complaint was that they set up this cool mystery of who was this Imperial general that they were going after, and then Rada was like, "Oh, it's that guy," and I was like, "That's what they did." Like, all right, fine, whatever.
Not that I really, give any. I don't go looking for people's reviews of stuff, because especially when it comes to Star Wars, everyone's just looking to be intentionally negative. But
at this point, yeah.
But my favorite thing is people are going like, well, it was just like a really long episode of the TV show, and it's like, yeah,
What the hell were you expecting?
that's what we wanted. You loved the TV show. What did you expect this to be? If they would have made it not like the TV show, you would have complained, well, it's not like the TV show. You are incapable of being satisfied with anything that's being produced. And the other thing is just that, Andor is an amazing show, but, the premise of Andor basically is, what if we did a Star Wars but removed all of the fun and just made it serious and dark and blah, blah, blah. And it's an amazing series, and it's thoroughly worth your time to watch it all. But there's no fun in it until, like, the second to last episode when K2SO finally becomes a character in it, because K2SO is freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
So, so it's like, but because Andor was so, like, beloved, now it's like, oh, well, this is just a bunch of silly, fluffy It's like, yeah, that Star Wars always had silly, fluffy things in it. Stop pretending like it was never there. It was always there. There can be serious Star Wars and there can be fun, goofy Star Wars. It's like it just annoys me. So, but yeah, Kalani and I got dressed up for our movie viewings because she really, really wanted to. I mean, I probably could have just done it once and then showed up the second time in regular clothes, but no, she wanted to be dressed up both times. So on night one, I wore the same thing both nights. I was Luke Skywalker as he appeared in The Mandalorian, and I even brought my Grogu with me. And she, night one, she was an X-Wing pilot, because there's X-Wing pilots in this movie, and X-Wing pilots are like her favorite.
Were those the same characters from the trench run in the original Star Wars?
I don't think any of them were. But at least one of those X-Wing pilots has showed up on The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. And then the big purple guy who's kind of his sidekick, Zeb Aurelius, he's a character from the show Rebels.
Okay.
He showed up briefly in one of the TV series as like kind of a cameo, and now they basically kind of made him a straight-on like sidekick. So it's like between, like all of the live-action Star Wars, so it's like we've had Zeb, we've had like from the show Star Wars Rebels, we've had Zeb, Hera, Sabine, Ezra, and Chopper, which basically means the only one missing is the character who is dead, who's Kanan. But if they really wanted to, they could force Ghost Kanan into the show if they had to. I just love that we're so close. It's like all of us like fans are just kind of, and also Ahsoka was part of Rebels too. So I just feel like Dave Filoni is setting us all up. Like eventually they're just going to announce, oh, we're doing a live action Rebels season or something like that, because that would be freaking cool, or a movie or something. I don't know, but because it's like, why are you bringing back all these characters and liking live action just to appear in other people's shit? So, but anyway, I thought, yeah, and it's the same voice actor doing Zeb from the animated series as in the movies, because why in the hell else would you cast somebody else when you have Steve Bloom sitting right there? You have a perfectly good Steve Bloom right there. But anyway, yeah, I thoroughly dug it, and I may not be talking about it as much, but I am thoroughly hyped in a week from now when the He-Man movie comes out. I'm so psyched.
I am too. I am looking forward to that one.
And I decided to Google something like in the most general of terms, because I don't want to hear spoilers, but I had to finally bring myself to Google the phrase, does the character Orko appear in the Masters of the Universe movie? And according to Google, yes, he does show up. So apparently they're just keeping him out of the trailers, so all of the, edgelord people, like if they saw Orko in the trailer, they'd be like, oh, I'm not going to go see this movie. It's like, oh, you're fine with all the rest of it. The big green tiger and the blonde dude in the fur bikini with the fluffy hair and the sword. You're fine with all that. You're fine with all the other goofiness that is the Masters of the Universe. But Orko, you can't handle. Oh, yeah, Nick Orko. It's like, whatever. So I'm psyched to see what it's like, what Orko, how they'll present Orko, and I'm very curious as to who's going to be voicing him. If it's going to be like a standard voice actor, or if they're going to go the celebrity route. And if it's the celebrity route, it's probably going to end up being Josh Gad. It's like I'm just thinking like Josh Gad. I mean, Jack Black is almost like, I don't know. I kind of think it needs to be a higher pitched voice, so Josh Gad would fit. But anyway, anything else happened this week? Nah, just I was able to. I had to be on the hook for jury duty for a week. Oh, I forgot to mention. So I don't have any drama from my workplace this week, but they did shut down the building on Sunday due to needing to like do some repairs there that involved having all the power shut down for safety. So they basically forced us all to take Sunday off, and since Kalani and I so rarely have a day off at the same time, we went to Disneyland together for like the entire day. So that's something she and I haven't done in like a very, very long time, pretty much since I started working. So that was fun, and we rode the new at Disneyland, and I assume at Disney World too. The ride Smuggler's Run, the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, had been like this one ride where you're helping the Hondo Onaka like fly into Corellia and like steal some coaxium power whatever's and bringing them back, and while you're and along the way you're like blasting down Empire or First Order ships, blah blah blah. So they've made a new version of the ride where it's you're flying with you're like flying along with Mando and Grogu in their ship, helping them do some stuff, and they're like he's like basically out to collect bounties on 3 people, but then something goes wrong and the 3 people like scatter in different directions and all like light speed like out, but we have trackers on them, so then you have to pick which one we want to chase. And they're going to different locations. Like one is Bespin the Cloud City. One is outside of the Endor Moon, where the Death Star used to be. The one from Jedi. And then what was the third one? Coruscant is the third one. The big city planet. So basically, you get to choose which way you go, and they've actually added more things. Like there's the pilots in front steer, the gunners on each side shoot stuff. And then the engineers in the back. In the first version, the engineers didn't really do much. You just waited for lights to come up, and then you hit the buttons for the lights to like be like, "Oh, look, I'm fixing the ship." And you weren't really interacting with the gameplay. So they've improved that so that the engineers are actually what they're doing is actually part of it.
Okay.
And there's little screens on the ship where when you're doing things, like images pop up. So like images will pop up of like Grogu just like being like in the camera like. like, oh, there's a battle. What's going on? Hit this button, and then, hi, I'm Grogu. It's like, just like a little baby, just being like, mom, pay attention to me, kind of thing. It's really funny. So it's the new version of Smuggler's Run is freaking amazing. We wrote it 4 times just to make sure that we could see each of the 3 new locations, and and also they've changed the timeline of Galaxy's Edge to be the kind of. It's it's a little fuzzy. Basically, kind of Return of the Jedi. It's like, so like Mando and Ahsoka and stuff are there, but also Luke, Leia, Han, and Darth Vader and the old school stormtroopers are there. So we're just kind of being like, whatever. It's like it's somehow before Return of the Jedi, but Mandalorian is still here anyway. That takes place after Return of the Jedi. We're just not gonna. We're not going to think about it too hard.
Timey-wimey, it's fine.
Yes, exactly. So for so we got to get pictures with Luke, Leia, Han, and I got to interact with Darth Vader because I was done up in my full like Ahsoka fanboy outfit. So I got to meet Ahsoka in my Ahsoka fanboy outfit, which was great.
Awesome.
I was like, "Hi, I am a fan of your work." And she was like, well, perhaps you could be like a decoy, like since you look so much like me. And then she asked me my name, and I'm like, my name happens to be Luke. And she's like, oh, have you spoken to the other Luke? I'm like, yes, I saw him in front of the Falcon. He told me if I saw you to say hi. So it's just tons of dorky fun. So anyway, but yeah, and then I had to spend this week. Way back before MarsCon, I got a notice about having to potentially be on jury duty, and this was back during the whole brouhaha of me being under, not just worrying about MarsCon, but also worrying about my stupid probation that I was under. So I ended up pushing the jury duty back to this week because I figured, like, well, wait, if I push it to the week of Memorial Day, then that'll be one less day I'd potentially have to be on jury duty because they're not going to be open on Monday. So I had to like call in to like check every day to find out if I was going to have to go on jury duty, and I did not. So I don't have to worry about jury duty for another year. So it was kind of like a. But even if I had been picked for jury duty and it had been a trial that went on for a while, I would have gotten paid from the post office to go to jury duty, which would have been nice to get paid to like just sit there and listen to people talk instead of having to go do the job. But whatever. But yeah, outside of that, I finished episode 16 of Luke Ski's Animation Stuff podcast, which I posted to the Patreon people last night. It's going to get posted to the general public like just after midnight in my time zone, so y'all can listen to that with my guest Santana Maynard, and it gets wacky because Santana can be wacky at times. So yeah, I think that is about everything. Oh, and I bought because I wanted to reward myself for getting through my probation. I bought myself a Lego set of the One Piece pirate ship, the Going Merry.
Okay.
So I've been building that a little bit at a time the past couple of nights, and and while I continue to watch the anime, I'm up to episode 310, and they still haven't rescued. They technically still haven't rescued Nico Robin. I mean, they've caught up with her, but Luffy's still off recovering from a battle with another guy, and they still got to figure out how to escape. It's like. Some of these animes just take goddamn forever to make anything happen.
How long is each episode?
Like if you take out like the opening credits and the recap and then the closing credits, like 20 minutes. So,
okay. So, all right. So half hour. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, what have you been up to?
Let me remove the pin and see. Cut that's me. Okay. Well, the big thing I've been working on is, for those of you who pre-ordered my 40th anniversary release, maybe wondering what the hell's going on with that, I've been working on the model that we're going to 3D print of me holding the microphone and stuff. And like the issue was that the first one we did that came out really good was not printable. It's because of I had glasses and also I was using this microphone and had the mic cord. And Dr. Don was like, the glasses are going to be really hard. The mic cord is impossible. So I was like, can you take more pictures without it? So I took more pictures of me without my glasses, and just took the mic cord out. And we tried with those and didn't really look good. So I was like, well, let me try it myself. And I found this website that, does you upload photos and it converts it into a 3D model. So I was doing that. And first one I did looked really good, and then I remembered I uploaded the wrong pictures. I had glasses and the mic cord, and I was like, damn it. So I had to do it again. So I did it again, and it started to look good, and everything was fine. And then I started texturing the thing, and I got my clothes on, and then I started adding the decals for my hat and the shirt and stuff. And the model came back like a patchwork quilt. Didn't look anything like what I had intended. And clearly this was a server error. Like the server just screwed something up, and it literally, have you ever seen those quilts people make where they just cut up old t-shirts and stuff and they just sew them together? That's what the model looked like. So I had to contact their support team, and I was like, hey, I think you have a bug. and they looked into it and they were like, yeah, that's not supposed to happen. So I had to wait for them to fix the problem, and then I was finally able to go back and get the model. So Dr. Don has the model now. Unfortunately, all the texturing work I didn't survive the transfer to Don, so he has to redo the texturing. So hopefully soon we'll have a model and we can get these things into production. So that's been my big project for the recent past. But the other thing I've been doing, have you happened to pick up the new Yoshi game, The Mysterious Book?
I have not. But is that the one where everything looks all like craft items and stuff?
No. That's Yoshi's Crafted World, I believe, which is also a really good game. This one, there's a book, and it's like 2D artwork on the surface of the book, and it's animated, and then you decide which area you're going to explore, and you go into the environment and explore. It is a really fun game. I've kind of gotten hooked on it. I've been playing it a lot lately. It's interesting in that you can't die. There's no life meter. There's no life counter. Things can hurt you, but you just kind of flicker for a second, and then you go back. Fire Blast Studios subscribed. Thank you. So I'm gonna get around the star. There we go. So you don't die. You just and what's happening is there's all these environments, and there's these weird animal life and some plant life that you're trying to learn about. So it really encourages a sense of just play and exploration. Like, what happens if I try to eat this thing? What happens if I carry this thing? What happens if I throw this thing? What happens if I stomp on this thing? What happens if I set this thing on fire? There's all sorts of different things you can do depending on the level, and each level is tailored to that particular creature's abilities and stuff. And it's just, I've burned a lot of time on this game so far. My wife got it, and she played it for a little bit, and she's like, "You want to try it?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure," because I like the Yoshi games. And I started playing it, and I am like 6 times further than she is in the game now. So that's all I've been up to. Let's get into some music, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Here is first song. This is a new one by Marian, Rosin, I Wish I Were Amish, followed by an interview with her.
I threw my roommate shampoo in the toilet. If his hamster squeaks again, I'll boil it. If I had a birthday party, he just spoil it. I'll wear his underwear and soil it. I wish I were Amish. Oh, I wish I were Amish. Oh, I wish I were Amish. My dentist says to call him when I'm wealthy. Bob Dole says get rich or healthy. Grandma tells me that she has some heirlooms she can sell me, and MasterCard is out to fell me. I wish I were Amish. Oh, I wish I were Amish. Oh, I'd kill to be Amish too.
I am here with Marian Rosin. How you doing, Marian?
Hey, I'm good. Sorry about all the Wi-Fi problems.
That's fine. It's been a long time since we've spoken to you. And for the people watching at home, I have her video pinned for technical reasons, so it's not going to cut back to me as I'm talking. So tell us about I Wish I Were Amish.
Oh, I wrote that when I was in a really bad roommate situation, as I think many people are when they are younger.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at New York Magazine, and there was something about visit Amish country. And just the thought went through my head, I wish I were Amish.
So you went right from having a bad roommate to wanting to be Amish. It seems like you skipped a couple of steps in there. Like, you could like kick the roommate out, move out yourself.
It's not always easy.
That's true. And I know in New York City it can be kind of a nightmare.
Yeah. Well, this was actually when I lived in Rhode Island.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That this all happened. I was much younger.
So what is it about the Amish lifestyle that drew you to it?
I think at that time it was just like kind of somewhat in my head synonymous with peace, and maybe the Amish weren't bad roommates. Like if I could get an Amish roommate, maybe it'd be great.
I was wondering about that. Like, would an Amish person be a good roommate? And I honestly don't know. I mean, they get up at 4 a.m. to go put up a barn in your. Say that again.
Maybe we could have TV.
Well, I mean, you could have TV. He wouldn't use it.
Well, yeah, and maybe they'd be on Rumspringer.
Maybe, yeah. Now I'm picturing that this would be a fascinating sitcom. So, what have you been up to? Have you performing a lot lately?
I haven't been so much. A lot of the places that I had always performed at closed down during the pandemic and never really came back. And then I was working a lot,
Mm-hmm.
a lot in other ways. And then we had a big family tragedy in 2023.
Okay.
Um,
You don't have to
so
go
I was
into it.
just kind of not feeling it for a while.
Okay.
I
That's
do
fair.
have some stuff I want to go back into the studio and record.
Okay, good. Yeah, we would definitely love to hear some more stuff from you.
I think the one I want to record is pretty good, so hopefully you'll like it.
Okay, good. When are you hoping to
It's
get
one of
back
the
into
ones
the
I
studio?
like, so.
When are you
I'm
hoping
sorry?
when are you hoping to get back into the studio?
Maybe over the summer.
Okay.
The studio I used to record at closed, so I have to find a new one.
Everything closed in the pandemic. It was just everything's closed.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Not at the moment. I do. I mean, if people want to, they can listen to my stuff on Spotify.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that'll do. All right, well, thank you for joining us,
Thank you so much.
and we will catch you next time.
Okay, have a good summer.
You too.
This is the FuMP.
I'd rather eat a porterhouse than greens. Yes, I would. I doubt I should, but beef tastes good.
SAT's got a hold on me. I got a whole lot I don't wanna. I wanna put an end to DST. I got a whole lot I don't wanna. I'll just stay in bed where I'll sleep just like the dead till the clocks bring back ahead. Cause I'm seasonally affected. I call you a fascist, but you don't know what that is.
That's the Funny Music Project at thefump.com. THEFUMP.com.
Go out, touch down, personal bias.
Time for funny music news. Something.
Before we get to the news, just Wildcard in the chat says, wow, her connection was terrible. Yes, it was. But beyond that, she was having all kinds of technical difficulties, so much so that she was on the call twice. So it was me and two copies of Marian. One of them had video and the other one had audio. So every time she spoke and it cut to her, it cut to the one without video. So I had to pin the video feed so that we could hear her talking and see her at the same time. So that's why you never saw me in that video. All right. In the news, Cover to Cover Volume 3 will be out next week, coming out on June 9th. This is a collection of filk singers covering other filk singers' songs. So a bunch of filk singers covering each other's songs. This will include Carrie Dalby's cover of Tom Smith's song Pumpkin King and Cheshire Moon's cover of Carrie's song The World Is Made Of. Madison Matricula Roberts is coordinating the project, and she has set up a fundraiser on Tiltify. So if you go to tiltify.com and search for Filker Song Swap Volume 3, you will find it. And these will be available at filkersongswap.com. Marian's in the chat. Don't apologize, Marian. Things like this happen. We've had far more technical difficulties than that. I was just glad we were able to find a solution.
Remember when we got stuck in that echo loop chamber?
Yes, with Robert Lund, it just kept echoing, and it was like It was like 10 seconds later. It was like that long of a lag, and it just kept going. That was hilarious.
But it kept like layering on top of
Yes.
layering on top of layering. So it was like really, we are falling into the world of madness. It was great. It was awesome.
Wacky Ben has announced he will be ending his show. He will be retiring from being a funny music DJ at the end of 2027, so we still have plenty of time left. He wants to give the show one more full year. After that, he will be focusing on his comic books. So best of luck to you with everything, Ben. And A-Log will be having a special edition of his show on August 8th. This will be the Whacked Out 40 of the 1990s, where A-Log will be counting down what he feels are the funniest 40 songs of the entire decade of the 1990s. He's already done countdown shows for the 2010s and the 2000s. Now he's doing the 90s. This will be available on August 8th, where all your A-Log services are met. All your A-Log needs are met, is what I was trying to say. And just to give you a quick update on the FuMP albums on Spotify, Volume 116 has now shown up on Spotify. Volumes 112, 114, and 115 are now up on Spotify. 113 is still missing, so I'm going to follow up with that one. That's the one that went up and then was taken down, so I will follow up and see what's going on with that one. All right, you got anything before tour dates?
No.
All right. On Sundays in Nashville, Tennessee, Steve Goody hosting at the Bluebird. Sundays online, 2 Sleeps, the last Sunday of each month. On Facebook, Lauren Mayer. I got to follow up with her, make sure she's still doing that. On Mondays online, Steve Goody and Brad Tassel at virtualcomedyshow.com. And this Monday, that'll be June 1st, I think. The musical guests will be Janet and Charles Cox. I need to remember to put the date down here. So I'll just make a note for myself for next week so I don't have to figure it out on the fly. And Wednesdays in San Francisco, California, Ben Vicini. On the 30th in Hyannis, Massachusetts, Drew Jacobs. On the 30th in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, Carla Ulbrich. On the 3rd in Voorheesville, New York, Drew Jacobs. On the 6th in Delmar, New York, Drew Jacobs. On the 6th in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, Carla Ulbrich. And on the 9th in Nashville, Tennessee, Steve Goody. And birthdays. Coming up on the 2nd, Beth Kinderman. Happy birthday, Beth.
Hooray!
All right. Second song of the week by the Belle Isle Rats. Here is Running Out of Kennedys.
Joseph B. Senior, diplomat, businessman, patriarch, origin, he's where it all began. Well, he and Rose Fitzgerald, matriarch, socialite, Countess of Hyannisport at 104 she died. Daughter Rose suffered from a mental disability after Papa arranged for a crippling lobotomy. Kathleen Kick, debutante of 1938, perished in a plane crash. We're running out of Kennedy. We're running out of Kennedys. Mostly they're a memory. We're running out of Kennedys. Oh, 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 oh. Joseph Jr. flying on a secret mission. World War II mechanics screwed the wiring up. Next thing you know, kaboom. John F. Jr. was a magazine publisher. His Piper met the ocean on his way to Martha's Vineyard. Michael was a Boston lawyer, accused of bad behavior, ended life in Aspen when he skied into a tree. Mary Kathleen was a designer and a mom till she offed herself in Bedford. We're running out of Kennedys. We're running out of Kennedys. Mostly they were memories. We're running out of Kennedys. Oh, 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 oh. At one point there were more Kennedys than there are today, but we still have some versus RFK Attorney General. So Sirhan shot him down at the Ambassador Hotel. Dealey Plaza JFK, cool and crisp November day was ruined by those gunshots. Ooh, history derailed by those gunshots. We're running out of Kennedys. We're running out of Kennedys. Mostly they were legacy. We're running out of Kennedys. Oh, oh, oh. We're running out of Kennedys. We're running out of Kennedys. Mostly they're a memory. Oh, 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 oh.
I am here with the Belle Isle Rats, Mike Reniker, Tom Soloka. Welcome back, guys.
Thank you for having us again. All right.
So tell us about, what is it, too many Kennedys or not enough Kennedys? I forgot.
Running out of Kennedys.
Running out of Kennedys. Yeah, I knew it was something like that.
So this was one of the only songs, I did something on this song I almost never do, and that is I kind of second-guessed myself. I came up with the title, wrote the song, Tom came out, did his part, but then after I'm like, this, I don't know, this is like the Kennedys, and, they're this beloved dynasty, basically America's royalty, and I thought, do I want to mess with the Kennedy? I don't know. But on the other hand, it doesn't say anything bad about them. It doesn't insult.
Yeah.
It's just everything is a fact. I mean, if you were to just read the lyrics divorced from the music, it would just read like an 8th grade high school assignment.
The book
It's
report
just-
on what happened to all the Kennedys.
Yeah, it's just what happened. So what I actually polled 2 of my friends just to see what they thought, because make sure, see, I don't want to be missing anything. And my one friend said, that's a cool song, but it does come off a little callous, was the word he used. And I'm like, The other friend goes, nah, he goes, you know what? This society isn't as Kennedy-centric as it used to be, which is the word he used. And he says, and remember, it's a little demented, and it's only demented because you've got these horrible things to like really kind of happy music. But, what did we all grow up listening to? Dr. Demento.
Yeah.
So a little bit of Demento is kind of okay. So I thought about it long and hard, considered everybody's opinion, and eventually I just said, what the hell, who cares? Let's just put it out there.
We're gonna put it on the FuMP. 4 people are gonna hear it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, and to my ear, it sounds a bit like a Birds, not a parody, but sort of an emulation of what the Birds sound like.
the band of Birds. I was
Yeah,
trying to think of
the
what the
BYRDS,
Birds, yes.
was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and it just happens to be. It's not. Yeah, like Mike said, it's not meant to be insulting. It's certainly not poking fun at the deaths and that. It's just it's just that weird contrast of happy, everything sounds great with harmonies and all that, and then it just happens to be the dark topic.
And that's okay. And you mentioned the 60s and the Birds and all that, and that was totally by design. I definitely wanted it to have a 60s vibe, because when you think of JFK and RFK, you're mostly thinking of the 60s. And so in the very beginning, it starts off with that drum beat, which we kind of totally lifted from Phil Spector and the Ronettes. Boom, 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 crack, boom, boom, boom. And it's got that big, huge reverb.
Yeah.
And it just so happens the studio we recorded at, this place 64 Sound, actually has a actual hardware plate reverb. It's this big box about the size of a twin bed mattress, and it's got a steel plate in there, and we used that reverb, and he printed that, so that's like the real deal 1960s era plate reverb on that.
It just occurred to me, I don't think I've ever known that like an analog reverb was a thing. I just kind of thought it was something you did in like the like before computers, like they just did it in the amps, like because when I was growing up, the amps had reverb setting in them. I just figured that was how it was always done.
Yeah, you think most amps have what's called spring reverb, but what they used to do, they would have reverb chambers. Like every major studio, like Capitol here in LA, they've got their famous reverb chambers. It's basically an empty room somewhere in the basement, and they feed the sound in there over speakers, and then they've got microphones in there that pick up the reverberations, But now, of course, it's digitally. But these EMT plates, like the studio has, like I say, it's just literally a box. I tune for a lot of studios, and a couple of them have those because vintage is really the big deal. Studios in LA, they all want to have their vintage microphones and their vintage gear and their vintage synths, and so that's what that was. And the other thing was like I kept saying, what's like the one instrument that immediately evokes the early '60s? Well, is it like the cheesy Farfisa organ? That's possible. Is it the mellotron, like the beginning of Strawberry Fields? That's possible. Is it the Motown tambourine? But ultimately, I came to find out it was the 12-string Rickenbacker. It's called the Rickenbacker 360. If you listen, like the beginning of like the Byrds, Turn, 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 or the beginning of that Beatles song, Ticket to Ride, or Come On People Now, everybody get together by the Youngbloods. All these songs just have that iconic 1960s vibe, and it's because of that Rickenbacker 12-string.
Oh,
of course. Now I didn't have one, so I thought, well, am I going to have to rent one or what? But turns out I have a friend of mine, my friend Jim Rolfe, who I've been playing gigs with for 35 years, and he's like a guitar collector. And of course, he had one, so I was able to borrow his for a month.
Nice. It took you a month to record the song.
You know what? I had it from the thing was like it's hard to play. I'd never played one before, and it just doesn't. It takes a certain amount of time to get the technique to play it right. Because you've got 12 strings and one's taller than the other, so your finger frets one much more easily than the other. So you have to push down harder. And even on the take that's on the record, it's still not exactly perfect. But I basically just recorded a bunch of them and just tried to mix and match and splice and blend them together.
Yeah, I didn't notice. It sounded fine to me, but rapper. So
yeah. Well, thank you, but that's kind of where that song was coming from. This was musically. And again, this is one of the songs where I really didn't have it written when Tom came out, so I had him come out and I just played a click track, and Tom played all of his best 1960s fills and setups and.
So you could totally mess with him and have him record a drum track and then make it the most obscene, offensive song, and then just, hey Tom, look what we did. Huh?
Yeah. I didn't know it was about cooking puppies.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Puppy helper.
That's partially out of necessity and partially out of laziness, because I know that I don't have to have the song done even when he gets out here. I just have to have enough of the song together.
Just so he can play drums to it. Yeah,
he can play drums to the basic thing. And like on this song, I said, okay, we need a buntu, tan tan tu. We need all these different 60s sort of drum cliches, and we just did them with a click, and just added them to the hard drive, and then later on, I just sort of did maybe what we call a Franken track, which is what a lot of them are.
Yeah. So you guys record digitally now, even though you went to a studio. Do they still use reel-to-reels?
No, it's still digital. In fact, we only did the drums there. I still do all the other stuff, the vocals and guitars at my studio, just because I'm a cheap bastard. I'd love to go there for a week. I was actually just there tuning their piano the other day, and I said, man, the guy's got a zillion guitars and pedals, and we could spend a month there and have everything like really cool. But again, cheap.
Who did you say was it? Kenny Aronoff was recording in there?
Yeah. Do you know who Kenny Aronoff is?
No, I don't.
He was the drummer for John Mellencamp. He's the drummer for Sammy Hagar now. He was a drummer for John Fogerty. And I get this guy's Facebook or Instagram post, and there's Kenny Aronoff at the studio. They do a lot of high level stuff there, which I really didn't realize until after we re-recorded there. And I told you before, this is actually the studio where Dr. Demento used to do his show back in the 70s.
Yeah, I remember that. That's cool.
And so we're thinking we're probably going to do it again later this year if I can come up with the goods. So I just do a piano barter deal with the guy, and it works out well. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it works out good.
That's handy.
Yeah, it is. I have a lot of studios I tune for, but this one's like kind of, a good. He's not like so high level, so high up that we couldn't do this. Like some of the other studios, there's no way,
Yeah,
they're not going to do anything like that for me.
Yeah.
There's this. What were you saying, Tom?
I was just thinking the piano tuning, bartering, and all that will make a great story for our Behind the Music episode.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we need, is a Behind the FuMP special thing we could do for each of the artists. Yeah. More work for me. It ain't going to happen. So. So.
That would be pretty awesome. But actually, the inspiration for the song came. Do you guys? I know I've mentioned him before, but do you know who Mr. Ballin is? He's an internet guy. He tells true crime stories on TikTok and YouTube, and he's amazing. He's like the world's greatest storyteller. You could binge listen to this guy, and he did an episode about Joe Jr. Kennedy, who was JFK's brother, and he was in England in World War II, and he was a pilot. And so there was this really dangerous mission that he signed up for called Operation Aphrodite. The Germans at that point, they were well on their way to losing the war, but they still had these things called vengeance weapons, which they just dropped indiscriminately on big cities like London and all this stuff. And so their mission was to find these vengeance weapons and destroy them. And so he volunteered for this mission. So what they did, they took a plane, the Royal Air Force plane that they were flying, but they rigged it up so that it was a flying bomb. It was supposed to be like a kamikaze situation, except the pilots lived. The pilots had time to parachute out of there.
Cool.
So they wired up this plane and they took off. And because the plane is so heavy with bombs, it's like barely lifting up. It finally got off. And the deal was he was supposed to push a button, and that was going to activate a timer, and then the bomb was going to go off after they'd parachuted. But unfortunately, the mechanic who installed the bomb screwed up the wiring. So when it came time to push the button, and that was it. The bomb exploded. This plane exploded, and the thing was, and that kind of changed the course of American history because Joe was actually the one who they were grooming to be president, not John. So because Joe died, JFK became the one they groomed to be president, and so he became president. So it was kind of like one of those off-ramp historical points there.
Interesting.
So anyway, so after that story, I sort of became interested. I remembered the Kennedy curse, and I started looking into it, and what was my first impulse? Hey, let's write a song.
Let's write a comedy song about this.
Let's write a song about all these horrible things that happened to this poor family. Let's just make a nice, happy song about it. That's what I'll do.
Well, I mean, I have the same impulses, so yeah, it's a comedian thing, I guess.
Right. Yeah. You got to do humor is one of the greatest things ever, and if you can, and I'm big into dark humor, not as much as I used to be, but but.
Same.
Sometimes it's the best. Anyway, so that's really all there is to be said about that song.
So this is from your album, right?
Yes.
That album you put out recently. What was the name of that again?
Men of a Different Age.
Men of a Different Age. That's right. Yeah. Excellent album.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Highly recommend it for if people listening at home if you haven't heard it yet.
I recommend it too because that's. Yeah, and there's one more song that's still to come on it, the song called Helium, where we actually began the song with him and I on helium balloons. We went and got helium, just took this and did a little intro for it. So nice. I think that'll be the next one.
Okay, cool.
And we're throwing around ideas for the next batch of tunes too. That hopefully we'll do later this year if everything goes okay.
Cool. So, looking forward to that.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Insert standard answer here. No. just I just read something online that says every single day, at least 100,000 AI songs are uploaded to all the streaming services. So
it's insane.
It's like, man, how do you stand out? I mean, it was hard enough as it was, to have 300,000 songs every month, but now everyone's uploading these AI songs, and it's just like.
Yeah,
we are in uncharted waters here, my friends.
Well, the good news is that there seems to be a lot of backlash against it because people don't seem to want AI artwork and they don't seem to want AI music and they don't, and I'm all for it. Somebody posted in the Dr. Demento group recently that they're plugging their new album that they just wrote, and the cover was clearly AI generated, and one of the first comments was, "Is the music AI generated too?" Like he didn't even comment on. He didn't that was the whole comment was, "Is the music AI generated too?" Implying that the cover was AI, and the guy got all defensive about it, and I have no idea whether the music is or not, but.
Well, I mean, I did use AI on our cover. I mean, for visual stuff, it's hard to beat, and I used AI all over the Renaissance tech support video. I mean. You type in a shot, but I mean, for visual, I'm okay with it. But for audio, songs, no way.
I use it for to help me code, because when you've got a problem with a chunk of code, it's much easier to throw it into Claude and say, what the hell's wrong with this function? And Claude goes, you're missing a semicolon on line 372. I'm like, oh, of course I am, something like that. Or, you put a comma instead of a period here, because I'll never find that. It's really good for stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing what it can do. I mean, no question about it. But the price we're paying is like, we're living in an age where we don't know what's real. Yeah. I hear a song. Is this a real person?
Well, that and somebody wants to build a data center that's going to be the size of Manhattan.
Yeah, in Utah. Yeah,
like that's insane. So
yeah, there's that too. There's going to be environmental consequences. They're going to build these data centers all over when I went to Vegas a couple of weeks ago, there's now this thing called a switch data center, and when you go west of the Strip to Summerlin, where the house is, my in-laws' house where they used to live, there's this big, huge data center, and I swear to God, it's a half mile of buildings.
Jeez.
And it's a data center. Because I was like, what is this? And I looked it up, and that's what it is. So,
no wonder there's a shortage of microchips right now.
Hard drive. You can't get. We tried to get a hard drive. You can't get a hard drive.
Hard drives, video cards, even the CPUs and GPUs. There's a shortage of everything. There's a shortage of RAM right now. It's just
like the bad guys in a Mission Impossible movie. Just having that much power, it could be dark. It could be very dark.
We're going to destroy the planet, but you could generate a very realistic, rose for your friend in chat, and it's
fair trade.
It is a moral dilemma. On the one hand, I think this is really bad. What kind of a society are we living in? We can't understand. We can't differentiate what's real, what's true. But on the other hand, it can do all this cool stuff. I'm going to see Rush on when they open up on next month in June, and I said I kind of lost interest in them after a certain period of time. But I know there's lots of songs from that era they're going to play. So I said, ChatGPT, what are some songs from the era that I don't really like much that they might play that I should listen to? And it gives me a whole list of them. Listen to this. So, cool. It's everything's a double-edged sword. So I don't know.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. And apocalypse permitting, we will see you next time.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Devo. See you next time.
Later, guys.
See you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback.
Feedback.
Feedback, that segment of the show we do about now?
Feedback. Feedback.
Feedback.
Feedback. Marilyn Bellavia wrote, great interview. Thank you, Marilyn. And A-Log.
Oh my God, it's you, not again.
A-Log wrote, I'm still finding it surreal that after the Doc's retirement, we get new unreleased early material from Ogden Edsel. But then again, as Randy Hanslick MD once said in that song about lobotomies, funny how this world works. And for the record, Ben also told me that crazy dream he had about Cornelius years ago. It was a hoot then, and it's a hoot to hear now, just for how random that dream was. Thank you, A-Log. And that's all the feedback we got.
I have some feedback.
Yes.
It's for the Belle Isle Rats and their opinions on it being okay to use AI to make images.
Mm-hmm.
Can you
strongly disagree?
Thank you. I was just thinking to myself, it's like, what if they had been live on the show and said that? Like, I would have just been like, no, please tell me more. I'm very fascinated to find out how you can justify it's totally okay to use AI for image stuff, just, not music. Just go ahead. Please tell me. Tell me how it's totally justified and not destroying the lives of artists in Hollywood. So, yeah. Anyway.
So what you're saying is you want to give them the dirty finger. Okay.
Well, we had to put that dirty finger somewhere.
Yes. There we go. That counts too. All right. Let's do this.
Teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy. Now you have a job.
All right. Tomorrow's song is by the Right Reverend Jarvis T. Hornswoggle. And Tuesday's song is by the Kamikaze Snowmen.
Woohoo!
And I need a topic for this week's Spotify playlist. Any ideas? Now that those FuMP albums are up on Spotify, I can do the necrophilia playlist that we talked about some time ago.
Good.
Shall we do that?
Speaking of dirty fingers, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Let's go with.
Let me finish typing,
Yeah,
and then I'll do it again. There we go. All right. All right. Belle Isle Rats are at belleislerats.com. Marian Rosin, I don't know. I don't think she has a website. She didn't say. I don't think she's still in the chat either. So let's find out. Oh, she's on Twitter. Twitter.com/Marian Rosin. All right. Let's get out of here.
Oh, and by the way, sorry, never mind.
Go ahead.
Goes over. No. That thing you said during the interview about seeing the guy post the album in the Dr. Demeter group with the AI artwork.
Yeah.
I went to leave exactly that comment, and I saw somebody else had already left it. I'm like, okay, good. And I just hearted that comment. It's like, damn
okay, good. All right.
Strongly disagree.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spice.
I'm Luke Ski, and we had Marian Rosin and also Rats, who are okay with AI images.
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, shout it to random people on the street, and be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say,
a butt steak! A big, fat, 22-pound butt steak. 18 pounds and 4 more for dessert. Big and good, hot and spicy, sweet and meaty.